Welcome to the first episode of the SuperHeroCrew podcast. In this episode, we talk all Marvel comic news from San Diego Comic-Con 2019. And we look at the planned Marvel movies for Phase 4. All articles talked about in this episode will be linked in the description. What's up, my crew members? My name is Andrew. I'm here with Rob.
Yellow.
And we would have Coach on, but unfortunately, no Coach. This is the first official episode of the SuperHeroCrew podcast. We did try this once before. It didn't work out so well. We had technical difficulties, but we're doing this. This is the first episode. And I was concerned that we wouldn't have anything to talk about for this, but there's quite a few things to talk about. So in this episode, we're going to just talk about all the San Diego Comic-Con comic book related news that was announced and stuff like that. I do have some interesting things to say about some of these things, but yeah. So Rob, are you ready? Are you excited?
I'm super excited.
Okay, that's good to hear. but all right. So, and also, by the way, I'll have the links to each article that we talk about in the description, so you guys can follow along if you want and take a look at the articles for yourself as well. Be sure also to comment down below on your opinions as well, because I want to also hear what you guys have to say, not just from us, because our opinions sometimes don't matter. Sometimes I want to know what you guys think, and then we could argue in the comments, which is always fun. But anyway, so let's get to it. Let's get right into it. Doctor Doom #1. Getting his own ongoing series this October. I am super excited.
Well, I just listened to your review for Loki #1. That didn't work out so well.
Guys, go check out my Loki #1 review. Yeah, that you know what? Here's the thing with that. That was just all over the place and just very I just don't know what they're gonna do. What he's going to do, like, in the future with each issue, you know what I mean? Like, for this story arc and what's going on. And it was just all over the place. I just didn't really like it that much, which is disappointing. But, yeah.
And the artist, Oscar Bazaldua, he was the one doing Domino that I was raving about, so he's a great artist.
Okay, well, this is, Doom #1 is going to be written by Christopher Cantwell, and, the artist is going to be Salvador LaRocca.
Yeah, he just finished Uncanny. He was doing well there too.
Yeah, so it's going to be an ongoing series, which is pretty interesting. Not a limited, it will be ongoing. And according to the article, it's going to be putting Dr. Doom in an interesting, conflicted position, and he's framed for a terrorist attack, so he's going to be running from the law. Okay. Honestly, I'm down just because it's Doom. I like Doom. I will be definitely getting this. I think this is going to be pretty cool. But we do have a couple months. It's October is when this comes out.
I don't see Doom running from anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I'm sure they'll set it up.
Yeah, he seems like the type of guy that'll figure it out on his own. It says here Dr. Doom is running from the law and himself? ?
Hopefully that's literally himself.
Yeah, well, you know what? If we get another Clone Saga, I will be extreme. The Doctor Doom Clone Saga now.
Maybe just a Doombot that's gained sentience.
Ugh. But also the cover is beautiful.
Yeah, it's just his face.
It's just that's all you really need for it. So.
Man, his cloak. He's got to have his cloak on.
Yeah. So you can see a little bit of the hood. But Rob, what do you think about this? Like, I know you're mostly an X guy. You only get the X books, but you know.
Yeah, I don't really have any attachment to Doctor Doom. He's.
I just think he's badass. Like
yeah,
he's
a
just
classic
super
hero.
cool.
Yeah, like he's.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the bad guys. Like I don't know. Like Thanos now has been pushed to the top, but it never used to be Thanos. It used to be Doctor Doom was the bad guy for all of Marvel. So.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting. I probably won't pick it up, but I would like to hear your opinion on it. Just like the Loki book, because
Yeah, but Yeah, I mean, but now here's the thing, okay? We had a Doctor Doom book a couple years ago with infamous Iron Man, where he had the Iron Man suit and he was the good guy. He was like a good guy and stuff, which I wasn't picking up, but I heard it was fantastic. But here's the thing, though. I don't know if how Doom wasn't like he stopped being like Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that turned out because I wasn't reading it.
Well, it reminds me of the Superior Spider-Man book. That I always thought it was a little derivative, but I guess it's all about how it's written.
Yeah,
because everybody loved that Superior Spider-Man book.
And the Superior Spider-Man book now is also great. Like, I think Superior Spider-Man is the best that Doc Ock has been ever. Like, this is the best he's been ever, including when he was a villain.
Yeah, and the only reason the first book stopped wasn't it got stuck in either one of the events, either Civil War II or something, or even I think maybe a Spider-Man movie was coming out too, so they had to get the real Spider-Man back in the book. So it kind of ruined that whole series, so it's good that now he's got his second chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty good, but back to Doom, I see, here's the thing, I love Doom, but will this last?
It's always hard to have a villain as the protagonist, so I don't want Doom to be a good guy, so it's kind of hard. I understand if he's conflicted, that's fine, but don't make him a good guy.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we'll see him in the Doctor Strange movie. That'd be cool.
Ooh. Yeah, that might be interesting, but don't worry, we might get to the movies later.
I was gonna say, we're gonna talk movies.
Yeah. If this doesn't drag on that long, we might talk about the movies. But you know what? Overall, I'll probably pick this up. I'm hoping it's good, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, who was the author again? I never read anything from that guy.
Christopher Cantwell, which his last name really doesn't really isn't a good sign.
Oh, he's a TV guy. That's either good or very bad. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is very interesting because, well, for this article, there's a little bit of backstory for it. War of the Realms happened. Okay, we all know about that amazing event, and there was a tie-in called New Agents of Atlas, written by Greg Pak, and he introduced characters from the Marvel mobile game Future Fight.
Oh, is that where these people are from?
Yes. So there's a couple of them, but now they're getting their own books. Now, I don't know whether or not they are one-shots or ongoings, but because it doesn't really say in the article.
And even if those are the covers, they don't have any numbers on them either. So I wonder if that's the actual cover.
Yeah.
So it might be just one-shots. That would make sense. That White Fox, she was in the Domino series. I had no clue that she was from that video game.
Apparently, because they're doing Future Fight first.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I just say something though? When they were in New Agents of Atlas, the tie-in, right? That's, I guess, where they first appeared, kind of, I guess. Or not, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
They didn't seem like the most interesting characters.
Yeah, I was complaining about White Fox. It's like she came back in the end of Domino to kind of be the hero, but she was not very good in it. But the interesting thing, all these characters are Korean. You can see where they're breaking into that market, obviously.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I do, but here's the thing: like Crescent and EO, for whatever reason, I love like the concept and the design. It's just in the New Agents of Atlas book, it just did not pan out well.
Maybe it's just not well written.
I mean, I like Greg Pak. Like Hulk Marines was pretty good.
See, he did the X-Force X-Force that I hated.
Well, that's not good. But can I just say something though? The White Fox cover is pretty damn awesome.
Well, yeah, I think I really like the Luna Snow one. That's a cool cover too. But it's this is obviously targeted towards a different market than us, but it still looks interesting. I read White Fox in Domino. Not a fan of her that much. She's like a super spy. She's very much like Black Widow. That's what I got out of it. But she's got some heritage that she's like a demigod of some sort too. So like like Talisman or any of those kind of people, they got some different background. So I don't know about her, but Luna Snow looks interesting to me. Just the character design looks cool.
She's basically Dazzler, where she's a pop star.
I would love a crossover then. That'd be hilarious.
Luna Snow and
because it's like a K-pop star versus like an old aging star. That'd be kind of fun.
Listen, we had Wolverine versus Blade. Let's get Luna Snow versus Dazzler.
That's right. That's
that's what we should do.
Song competition.
Make it a musical.
Yeah, these ones.
Animated musical.
That's right. Or like they do mini episodes, I think, on the Disney channel, on the Disney YouTube channel, so they could do that for those guys. But yeah, that's totally focusing on the Korean market, which is good. It's good to get a new market. And I wonder how popular comic books are in Korea. You don't really hear about that. You hear obviously about manga in Japan, but I would assume there's some influence from Japan and Korea, but who knows? But
yeah, I mean, they was that?
Well, coming from a video game is the only thing that that deters me from liking things.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I was like, where are all these characters coming from? And then like, I was like, oh, are these all new characters? It's like, no, they came from the game. I was like, really? I was like, I mean, it's interesting to do that, but it's very weird.
Yeah, it's odd choice.
Yeah. But yeah, Future Fight First. I don't know if it's if they're doing like ongoings for them, or if they're doing if they're just one shots. Like there was Arrow and like AERO and Swordmaster. Both were from the new Agents of Atlas book, and they have their own ongoings now.
Oh, that's weird.
I believe Swordmaster is coming out this week, actually.
They're really pushing those guys for some reason. Hey, was it that popular? I wonder if they must have sold a lot of those New Agent Atlas books to be focused on.
According to this article, it says, reacting to player response, all three characters then made their Marvel comic debut in the sold-out War of the Realms New Agents of Atlas miniseries, which, can I say something? It wasn't the best, but, I mean, it was okay. The last issue kind of sucky because it seemed like it, for whatever reason, it was 4 issues instead of like 3 or something, which was weird because instead of doing like 1 issue each month for each month that War of the Realms was going on, it was 2 in the second month and then 2 in the third month. But yeah, it was okay. But yeah, if these are one shots, I might get them.
Yeah, from reading this, it says Marvel's Future Avengers feature in a brand new story that runs across each Future Fight issue too. So it sounds like there's going to be each one of them is a single issue, and then they all kind of connect. That's what it sounds like, or at least a backup story is going to connect them all. So I think they are just single issues, which is fine.
Yeah,
it's good, and they can from that if they sell tons of one, I'm sure it'll get promoted to an actual ongoing.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, it's pretty much it for these Future Fight First. Like I said, if they're one shots, I might get them. But we'll see what happens. But these are coming out in October, and we don't really have a exact release date for them, but they will be coming out October. The next thing I do want to talk about, and I'm hyped for this because you know me with my love of alternate reality stuff and characters and whatnot. We have Spider-Verse #1, which will be a 6-issue mini, written by Jed MacKay and art by Juan Friguera, with Art Adams, Stuart Immonen, and Stacey Lee, and also more. And like I said, 6-issue mini. It's about Miles Morales dealing with some kind of situation that involves the multiverse, and possibly we might get new Spider people in this, new Spider characters, which would be cool. But on the cover we have Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Ling Miles, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Ham, Spider-Mam, looks like regular Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Spider, or SP//DR, Penny Parker, from like the chibi anime universe thing. But yeah, and the cool thing is that the cover is by Wendell Delit, which is the character designer from the Spider-Verse movie.
And that's why I'm wondering, with all those artists, I wonder if they're going to do it like the Spider-Verse, where each character is drawn by a different person, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd
be hard to do, cool. Though, man. How would they?
That'd be really.
Yeah, maybe it's just going to be like different sections are drawn, whatever world they're in or something.
Yeah.
But Art Adams is one of my favorite artists of all time, so that's kind of cool that he's still getting work. He's got to be pretty old now.
Yeah.
He's drew the very best Wolverine ever, so maybe we'll see a Spider Wolverine.
But yeah, Spider-Verse #1. I'm excited for this. I'm definitely picking this up. If it's also it's got Gwen in it, so I mean it's got Spider-Gwen in it. I can't really.
And the other good thing is, at least on the cover, there's no Venom.
Yeah, thank God you brought that up, because oh my God, finally we're not getting Venom in something.
Maybe we'll see. We'll read the first issue, and Venom will be the main bad guy.
Exactly, it'll be a twist. The twist will be that it's
or worse, it'll be the Poisons or Carnage or.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I love all the like Spider-Man alternate stuff. You know, Spider-Gwen's my favorite character. And seeing them, I like how they're doing this where it's not, they're not making it as like a big event. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Verse or Spider-Geddon, you know, where all these times. No, it's just going to be a mini-series about how, you know, with these alternate Spider characters helping each other out and dealing with something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was greenlit after the success of that movie, where it was just like, oh, we better get on this, and they.
Oh yeah.
And it's taken that long. It's almost a year for that to get into production and come out. I'm sure that's what it is, but it looks fun.
Yeah, but this is out in October, and I'm happy that it's only 6 issues, and that it's not going to be an ongoing, because certain things like that, where if they make it an ongoing, then it's like, then it'll get canceled and they'll just cut a story short. But no, and they might drag it out and it might not be that good. In this situation, it's they have a set story that they're gonna tell in these 6 issues, so they have it all structured how they want it, which I think is really good.
Is it monthly?
I would assume. As far as I know, I hope it is, because if it's twice a month, I'll be very upset.
Or weekly?
No.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing about 6 issues, too, is it's not too unwieldy, and hopefully they'll have a good story, and it'll be a complete story.
Yeah.
Like, that's the... Well, I have an issue with a lot of mini-series that have come out recently, either not actually being a separate series, or just not really telling a story. Like, if you're trying to do an ongoing, but if you're trying to do it, it's meant to be a miniseries, write it like a miniseries, have a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm nervous about with Doom, you know, because...
Yeah, that's right, because it might just like become like a TV show where it's the villain of the week walking and he's escaping again, and if they don't have a real end point, they could just keep that up for a long time, but hopefully maybe they have an arc planned and just do the arc and then see how it goes after that. But yeah, it is written, once again, that Doom one's written by a TV person, so it might have the TV formula. So
yeah.
And this one's written by who? The Miles Morales one?
It's written by Jed McKay, which I've heard of him. I might have read things by him, but I've said this before. I do not. Spider-Gwen is my favorite character, and I don't know who writes it.
Yeah.
So that I'm not good with names and stuff like that, and knowing who writes things unless it's like big names. But Jim McKay's writing this.
Yeah, it's unless you know who the writer is and what he's done, but or even if he's, like I say, he's from somewhere else, find out if he's yeah. Oh, there you go. Jed McKay wrote Black Cat #1, so he's hot for them.
Ooh, okay. that's where I heard him from, because I did not like Black Cat #1.
But was it just because of the character, or was it bad writing?
It was... You know what? I think the writing was pretty good, but like, Black Cat should never own a book.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's the thing. You know, like, if you could have a fantastic writer on a book, but if the character isn't good, then it's not going to be that good of a book. But yeah, Spider-Verse, I'm excited. 6-issue miniseries. I'm really excited. Hopefully it doesn't suck, but I have faith that with these characters that it could be good. Yeah. So, but the next thing is annoying me, because Mary Jane is getting her own book.
Is it a fashion book?
I don't know, but it's the Amazing Mary Jane. Yes, this is an ongoing.
Is it a Canadian book all about drugs?
Yeah, right. But this is written by Lee Williams and art by Carlos Gomez, coming out also in October. Like I said, for some reason it's an ongoing, and in my notes here on the on the Google Drive document that I have, my notes put I don't care.
Lee Williams wrote. She wrote I never thought I'd ever say this, but she wrote the Amazing Gambit and Rogue miniseries and ongoing series. And I hated those characters. Like, literally, like, they were... Rogue I was fine with, but Gambit was one of my most hated characters. And by the end of that series, I want more. So
really,
she turned me around on those people, so maybe she could turn me around on a Mary Jane comic book.
You know what, though? I really don't know.
Once again, I don't think we're the target audience. That's obviously targeted at girls.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's probably going to be her getting into wacky adventures when she's in, like, L.A. or something on movie shoot. You know, it's going to be one of those things, but I don't think it's, we're not the target audience for that.
Yeah. But still, it's like, you know, you said that Lee Williams wrote Rogue and Gambit, and you want more of them, of that book, but... Like I said, it's with Mary Jane as a character, as the main character in the book.
Yeah. Mary Jane should never be a main character. It's not... It's just...
Oh, no. There are characters that you cannot have as main characters at all. But, like I said, this is one of them that you cannot have as a main character of a book, unless you were to do a one-shot. Which, if they were to do a Mary Jane one-shot, I wouldn't mind, but this is an ongoing book. And the thing says here, so it's spinning out of the pages of Amazing Spider-Man number 25, which I did not read because I don't care. The funny thing is that I'm reading every single Spider-Man book besides the main Amazing Spider-Man book. So, that's weird, but, like, I'm reading Spider-Gwen Superior Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and then I'm actually not... I thinking I'm gonna drop the Miles Morales book, because I'm just kind of like, I'm not really like that. Like, when it comes out, I'm like, oh, I guess I'll read it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, you know. It's not really like high on my list, so I might just drop it. Also, because the last issue, I have no idea what was going on. Even though it was like a fantastic issue, it's still... there's nothing going on, really.
I take it all back. I just looked it up. Lee Williams did not write Rogue and Gambit. That was Kelly Thompson. Lee Williams wrote the Extremist book, what I hated. So I take it all back. It's not the right person. I mixed them up. I'm sorry.
Well, then this book is going to be terrible.
Yeah. Well, who knows? But it's not what I'm interested in. The Extremist book was not good. So that whole mini series was terrible. But and I tried to see what else she wrote, and it's a lot of stuff that I for some reason her name came up though that I remember more than writing that. Like, she's written something else that I read that, and it probably stuck in my mind that she wasn't good. But Yes, Kelly Thompson's the one I like. Lee Williams is the one I do not like. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how they can do this as an ongoing. Like, I don't know what the stories would be. Like, is she gonna be like dealing with? Oh, look, it's Mysterio.
But if it's like a 4-issue mini, that'd be fine because it'd have it's just a fun little adventure. But to be an ongoing, is she gonna become a superhero of some sort? Like, we already have Spider-Gwen. We don't need another Peter Parker's ex-girlfriend. Wait, and Black Cat. Maybe that's it. They saw the success of Spider-Gwen and Black Cat. They're like, maybe it's Peter Parker's girlfriends that make all the money, and they just gave her an ongoing.
Yeah,
I think it all makes sense.
Or just maybe write a book good.
I'm excited for the Aunt May ongoing series. So
yeah, that's what we need. But yeah, I have no interest in this. Like you said, it really isn't our target audience. But
like, if it's like a romance book or something, like they're trying to bring that kind of stuff back, like I'm fine with that. But yeah, the idea that it's her getting into like superhero adventures, and they have to find some way that Spider-Man doesn't have to come save her, because otherwise that'd be like super sexist. I don't understand how they're going to even do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said before, if this was a one-shot, I wouldn't mind it, because some characters cannot have like an ongoing book. I don't think, like, a lot of characters I think do not work with an ongoing book. Maybe a mini-series or a one-shot. For example, like the next thing we're going to talk about is Red Goblin, Red Death, #1. This is a one-shot about the Red Goblin. Now, I don't know if you know what the Red Goblin is or who the Red Goblin is, but it is Norman Osborn with the Goblin formula and the Carnage symbiote.
You had me until the symbiote.
We're getting more symbiotes. Yes, we did it, Rob. We did it.
we almost got through a podcast without talking about symbiotes.
No, we can never get away from them. But this is written by Pat Gleason, Rob Fee, and Sean Ryan.
You need 3 writers
Pete
for this?
Woods. Yeah, right, I know. But you know what, though? I'm assuming it's going to be 8 different stories.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how one-shots are nowadays. But, and art by Pete Woods. Now, I have in my notes, what could they possibly do as a story about him? You know? Like, listen, I can understand if you do a one-shot on, I don't know, I don't know, some other character, but it's like, it's the Red Goblin. Like, what could you possibly do as, like, a story, you know?
And it takes place, like, during the one time he showed up. It looks like, so it's like, in that world, like in that time period. But the idea of those kids in the cover, where he's terrorizing some kids, I get a Stranger Things kind of feel. Maybe it's going to be like some wacky kids defeating the Red Goblin. Yeah.
I do like how the one kid is dressed up as Wolverine, and he's got like straws or something as the claws there. I think that's pretty funny.
It must have taken place on Halloween, I assume, then.
Well, yeah, this is coming out October, so I'm assuming this is going to be a like the Halloween scary book or whatever. But, you know, even though the concept is stupid, that Norman Osborn has the Carnage symbiote, I mean, the design of him, I think, is kind of cool. A little over the top, but it's kind of cool.
I see as a one-shot, I'm fine with that. Especially in the for a horror month, it'd be fun to do a little Stranger Thing homage with the Red Goblin. I think that'd be fine.
Yeah.
If he's just terrorizing some children, and if he just starts murdering children, then we can enjoy that too.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be tongue-in-cheek. That cover, it looks a little tongue-in-cheek. Because, like you say, the kids are funny looking. And
yeah, that's the one thing I'm thinking, because it might be like a funny, scary book or something.
Or, like you say, if it's multiple stories, I guess some could be scary, some could be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Who knows? But you know what? If it's a one-shot, I might pick it up, or if we'll see how Absolute Carnage goes, and if I really hate that book, then I'm never picking up anything that has to do with symbiotes ever
I can't believe you're picking that up in the first place.
Oh, come on. I have to pick it up.
At least to talk about it, I guess.
Listen, yeah. I mean, listen, at this point, I want to pick up at least the main book for events, instead of just not, reading them at all. I think I went a little too overboard, because, like, Spider-Geddon happened, and I did my whole, thing on the channel where I was reading everything. And War of the Realms, I read basically everything except Uncanny X-Men, which I wasn't planning on doing.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah, you're right. But, and I'm like I could have only picked up the main book and War Scrolls, and I would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I went a little overboard. So I think, like, for this, I'm probably going to drop the Miles book, like I said. So there's no I was going to get the Miles Morales Absolute Carnage tie-in, but I'm not even going to bother with that. None of the other tie-ins look interesting to me. Maybe there's a couple one-shots, maybe those. But I think I have to get the main book just so that I'm in the know and I'm not completely lost to what's going on in general.
I'm so lucky that X-Men seem to be in flux during this whole thing, so they don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, you guys lucked out.
Shows up in as a major character in House of X or something. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, kill me.
Yeah, the Venom is integral to the X-Men now.
Yeah. We'll find out he's a mutant. Well, he is part of Weapon X, it seems. So
don't even remind me. Anyway, next thing I want to talk about. What is this? What is this? They came out with this teaser 80 years ago. It was 1939. 80 years from now, it will be 2099. November 2019. Oh my god, are they bringing 2099 back?
You love 2099. I remember when you got all those books.
I know. I'm so... If they're bringing 2099 back, I'm going to be so excited.
I think it'll be one of those...
every book.
Yeah, it'll be one of those ones where they'll bring one shot of every book or something,
I wouldn't mind if they did, just a book called 2099.
Yeah, just like an anthology book with all different stories, like the Marvel Comics Presents. Yeah.
Yeah, well, better than the Marvel Comics Presents. Yeah. By the way, I dropped that book. I'm done.
I just want to find out the end of the Wolverine story, and I'll be happy.
That's what I was gonna do, and then I could not bother.
When they introduced Wolverine's daughter, that.
Well, you know what? No, was that?
Oh, it's all continuity, it seems too, or they're gonna retcon it all at the end. So it's like, oh.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah. Because it's that's why I was thinking. The first issue I thought was pretty good because it kind of made sense because it was okay, Namor is, back in the 40s or whatever. I understand that. And then the Spider-Man one, I forgot what even the Spider-Man one in that book was. Or no, was it who was in that book? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
And then, the Wolverine story, it made sense. But then, then it was why are the X-Men in the 80s?
Well, it's like the real timeline, which it doesn't work with the Marvel timeline at all. So, and then they just murdered them all. So it's like, oh.
So if it's that's the thing. It's if it's not in continuity and doesn't make sense, then I don't want to read it and I don't care.
Yeah, and then the good thing is the one Nightcrawler one, it didn't make sense, and all of a sudden it was it's part of their cross-time caper back in Excalibur. That makes sense. Yeah. It's some time in dimension traveling stuff. That's fine, but yeah, the idea that it's... the
Nightcrawler story, I was so confused. I was like, what is this? What is going on here?
It didn't make... I was like, what's going on? And then it was like, oh, okay. Fine. But none of those matter. The Wolverine one was interesting. I thought it was neat how they're going through his time. I didn't like how they're giving actual dates. They should have just kind of just been it's not every 10 years or whatever. They just every amount of time. So you could just skip through his ages, and it was fun to see what he was doing at that time. But then, the moment they just murder everyone and you're like, oh, this doesn't matter. Okay. It stopped being fun.
Can I tell you something? You know what is a good book that I actually really like? Marvel Team Up.
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, that's where they brought the Fantastic Four back in that book, right?
Did they?
Originally, wasn't that the whole point of that book? Where it was
Oh, no. You know what? That was Marvel 2-in-1.
Oh.
That's what that was. But Marvel Team Up, the first 3 issues was a 3-issue story arc of Spider-Man and Miss Marvel teaming up. And then the issue 4, which is coming out at the end of this month, is going to be Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel teaming up for 3 issues. And then I'm assuming, another 3 issues, like, so every 3 issues is like a new story, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the old Marvel team up was always fun.
Fantastic way to do it. Yeah.
Old Spider-Man he'd team up with, it was always Spider-Man, I think, in the old one, and he'd team up with like, Captain Britain or like weird people. You're like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that being a good series, so it's good that even Marvel Comics Presents was never great, but I like the idea of those series more than the actual make. And back to 2099, hopefully it is a better version of those.
Yes. And yes, let's go back to 2099, but went on a little tangent, but that's why I like this show. That's why we can do this show, because I don't really care if we go off into tangents and stuff like that. But, yeah, if they're bringing 2099 back, I'm hyped. If you guys don't know, if you're listening for the first time and you don't know, I love the 2099 stuff because some of the stuff is just so dumb, and I love it. It's just so different and weird. I really like it. And if they're bringing 2099 back and doing, like, different books, I think they should just do one book called 2099. But if they do, like, a couple of different books of 2099, I'm getting every single one of them.
Yeah, it'll be a fun little trade that when it comes out as a tribute. They kind of do that when there's anniversaries of things. It's funny though that it's just an image. It doesn't even tell you who's working on it or anything. Oh
yeah, no, this is just a tiny teaser. So I'm assuming we're gonna get some stuff about it.
And it does say Marvel Comics Presents 2099. So I wonder if it is gonna be an anthology.
Oh, I hope not. Well, I mean, if we're bringing Marvel Comics Presents into...
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like a sub-heading for like another offshoot of Marvel Comics Presents. That'd be kind of fun if it's just an ongoing 2099.
But I cannot wait if they do an X-Men 2099 book. That means you have to get it.
I never read X-Men 2099 back in the day because it was just like... It was so strange.
Listen, I have issues 1 through like 30 something,
and
which
I'd have to catch up on
bin.
it. Yeah, I'll have to catch up. I'll have to read them all.
Yeah,
but I did like Spider-Man. Was always good, and the Punisher one was weird. Doctor Doom one was weird. What was the other one? There was something else too, wasn't
there? Hulk and Ghost Rider.
Oh yes.
That did not sound happy.
The Spider-Man was good.
Yeah, well, Spider-Man was good. Well, he's the most iconic 2099 character, pretty much.
And I think he was the best redesign, too. Like, the X-Men had nothing to do with the X-Men, really.
Yeah, they really did not. You know what else they had? They had X-Nation, which I have the whole series of, which was like 6 issues, which spun out of X-Men 2099.
Wow, I didn't even know they could go that far. 2099 was like the Ultimate Universe before the Ultimate Universe. It was kind of like, hey, let's just have all these characters, but be different. But they just decided to do it in the future instead.
Yeah.
I guess Batman Beyond was popular, so they kind of did that.
That's true.
Which that series wasn't good either.
Hey, listen, the show was great.
Yeah, the show was great.
But yeah, 2099. We'll see what happens with that. We'll probably talk about it again on the podcast if they come out with more news about it and stuff like that.
Find out more.
But you know what? Let's get into your department here. This is the big deal, the biggest deal I think of San Diego Comic-Con, with comic book news wise. All of the X-Men books. There's 6 new X-Men books coming out in October. This is the dawn of X. So I guess the aftermath of Powers and House of, what is it?
Powers
House
of 10.
X, Powers of 10, or something.
Powers of 10, House of X, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, we're getting a bunch of different books. Let's talk about each one individually, and I want to know what your thoughts on each thing is. But the first one we're getting is just X-Men. And it's written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Lionel Yu, and it says it reveals the saga of Cyclops and his hand-picked squad of mutant, or they reveal the saga of Cyclops and his hand-picked squad of mutant powerhouses.
Yeah, and if the cover is to be believed, his hand-picked squad is all his family members and Wolverine.
Now, tell me, who the hell are these people? Like, okay, Wolverine, and who's the girl next to him?
That's Rachel Summers. That's Cyclops' daughter from an alternate reality.
Oh yeah, okay.
Used to be Phoenix, Cyclops. Yeah, and an interesting new uniform.
Yeah, I like the blue. I don't think it looks
And
that bad.
and I like the visors back to kind of the old visor too.
Yeah, obviously your boy Havoc's back there.
I wonder, now that I think about this, I wonder if it's a just an homage cover, because I love Havoc. He's in his original clothes, but in the last issue of Uncanny, he did die. But we'll see if he's brought back. Obviously, beside Jean is Cable. I think it's
Kid Cable.
Yeah, it's Kid Cable still, which is good. I like that. Behind them all, beside Kid Cable is Scott's father, who's Corsair from the Starjammers.
Oh, that's Corsair. Okay.
Yeah. And at the very back, bringing some like Clone Saga stuff here, is the hidden Summers brother, the third Summers brother, Vulcan, who was a divisive character, to say the least. He showed up in just a random way, like, oh, there's always been another brother. And he was kind of evil, so we'll see. He tried to take over the Shi'ar at some point, and I'm pretty sure he died at the end of that series, but death doesn't mean anything for X-Men.
So Cyclops picks his whole team his family and Wolverine, basically.
Which is funny because Wolverine. It's just like I think someone said that Wolverine's the guy that comes to the family reunion and won't leave.
But yeah, I mean, can I just say something? The brown Wolverine costume, I love.
Oh yeah, it's great
so much. I think it's like it's not as iconic as the yellow one, but the brown one I think looks cooler.
Yeah, I like the brown one way better. Yep.
Which he wears in the Savage Avengers book, which I'm happy about.
Oh yeah, because that was like his original when he went off on his own, was that costume. So that's kind of cool.
That was the Frank Miller miniseries. And can I just say something? I love the logo, the X-Men. Yeah. I love that logo so much.
Yeah,
like me being a graphic designer, I love.
And that's what
logo.
Hickman is, a graphic designer also. So he always has beautiful graphic designs on all his products. He always redoes the design, and it always looks really nice. And it kind of goes through all the other comics too. It's that X with the line in the middle. It's through all the. That's kind of like the new thing.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
But yeah. So. What do you think? How do you think this looks? Like, just from what we see, and the House and Powers of Powers of X, House of what is it?
No, Powers of 10, House of X.
I'm just gonna say Powers and House of X.
Yeah, there you go.
10 is stupid.
It is stupid.
But coming, that hasn't come out yet. That's coming out today, which is because this will be up Wednesday.
Yeah,
so
House of X is out. Yeah.
Which we will talk about on the next episode of the Superhero Crew podcast. But yeah, so coming out of those books, what are you thinking is going? Like, what do you think is going on? I don't know how to explain it. Like, what do you think is going on, and what do you think is going to happen with Powers and House of X?
Yeah, I tried to avoid like reading too much of it because I don't want to be spoiled by it, I guess. But it looks like afterwards it doesn't matter. None of it, because it looks status quo. Like, there's not that much different going. If all these characters are actually in the book, maybe it's a an homage cover where it's like this is his family. All of them are dead now. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, it's so far so good. If this is the actual team, it's an interesting team. And Vulcan, I may not have liked Vulcan, but I think it's an interesting character, and it may not have been written well. I think it could work. So we'll see. I'm excited to see the Summers family and Wolverine. So
Wolverine's just hanging out with them.
Yeah,
but
being taunted.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this might actually be the only X-Men book that I might actually pick up this X-Men book. I don't know, because I like the team kind of, and I kind of like what's it called, Kid Cable's design, or I think it's interesting how there's a Kid Cable now, and it's
at the end of the X-Force book, he decides to come back with the X-Force back to our reality, so he's back. He did kill his older himself, so
yeah. Well, that's just I didn't think they would do it again, but they did it. They found a way to make a character younger.
Yeah, and I think they revitalized Cable. Cable's kind of always like, he knew too much. He was too good. Like he was a Rob Liefeld creation, so he was perfect. And he always knew more than everybody else. And I like the fact that Kid Cable's a little bit more flawed. He doesn't know everything yet. He's still like, maybe, I don't know how old he's supposed to be, a teenager, I think. So I like that idea. Even in the X-Force book, when he's fighting Strife, who's his clone, the original Clone Saga, those two. Even Strife was a young, like he was a teenager too, so he was really impertinent and like prone to tantrums and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's neat how they're writing him that way. So I think they really got the character down. He reminds me of Damian Wayne a bit. He's got a bit of Damian Wayne to him, in a good way, not the bad parts of Damian Wayne.
What good parts?
Oh well, he's kind of a brat, but we love him.
Yeah. I don't know, but let's move on to the next book. The next book we have is Excalibur, which I'm like, yes, Excalibur's coming back, but it's not Excalibur.
Yeah, there's not a single person from Excalibur in this.
So this is also coming out in October. Like I said, all these books are coming out in October. Only 6 X-Men books. We're not getting 1,000 different X-Men books.
Wow.
Like we've had.
For now.
For now. Which, honestly, I think 6 might be pushing it, but I'll explain why I think that after we talk about all the books. But Excalibur #1, what are you thinking?
So we'll say in the team it's Rogue Gambit, Jubilee, Richter. I didn't know that was Richter, but I read it. And in her Captain Britain garb is Psylocke, the British Psylocke again. And in the back there is Apocalypse. So that must be obviously. I think the current continuity seems to matter, because at the end of the Age of X-Men, Apocalypse kind of redeemed himself and was kind of like repentant and like, he actually wanted to do good. So obviously it seems to be that he's on this team to try to. Yeah, it's funny thing is, on the old Excalibur, like in the middle Excalibur books, like when it came back, Juggernaut was on the team and he redeemed himself. So it seems like this is the book to have a villain on the team.
Yeah.
But Richter, the addition of Richter is interesting. No Shatterstar, so I don't know what happened to Shatterstar, his boyfriend. So we'll see if Richter has a reason to be there. He owns a nightclub, and he's kind of been on the side. He's been a side character for a while now. So whoever this Tinny Howard is writing this, I think they must like Richter for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Tinny Howard. I don't know what she's written before, but who knows?
And also there's Art the article just disappeared. Marcus Toad.
Yeah, Marcus Toad's done quite a bit of stuff. The cover is by Mahmoud Asrar, who I hate, but he's fine with covers. I just think he doesn't know how to do sequential art, other than in Conan. He's amazing in Conan.
Yeah.
You should stick to Conan.
Yeah, well, I'm reading all the Conan stuff. I love, a little tangent, but the Conan the Barbarian book is great. Savage Sword of Conan's pretty good. I like how it's the anthology book. We get 5 issues as a story arc. We had a one-shot, and then I believe this next arc is like 2 issues, and then we're just going to keep going, like, different story arcs. I love that as, like, more of an anthology type of book, but, like, smaller story arcs, not like this big whole thing like the regular Conan book is, where it's like, because the Life and Death of Conan story arc ends at issue 9. So that's a long story arc for Conan,
Yeah.
And then Age of Conan Belay, or whatever the heck her name is, is okay, but I'm excited for Valeria, which comes out next month, which I think that's going to be really cool. But anyway, enough with Conan. Those books are great, except Age of Conan. It's okay, but whatever. Actually, I have a short box, a Conan short box, and that's my mom had a good idea. She's like, why don't you just put all your Conan books in there? I'm like, okay. So I put all my Conan books in the one book, so it's all organized nicely. But yeah. So anyway, back to X-Men stuff. Excalibur.
Yes.
I saw Excalibur and I was like, ooh, Oh, it's not Excalibur.
I guess Betsy is the link to the old Captain Britain. Yeah, hopefully the old Captain Britain and Megan and those guys show up on this series. There's at least some connection to it, but yeah, it's interesting. Maybe after House of M, some reason she becomes Captain Britain. She's got the sword. Captain Britain chose the shield, I think, when he chose his weapons. Because when you become Captain Britain, you choose a weapon. It looks like she chose the sword, so it's interesting. So hopefully she is actually Captain Britain and not just Psylocke dressing like Captain Britain. And yeah, not much more to say about that. It's one of those books where we'll see how it goes. This may be the one I'm least interested in, but I'm still interested in it. Okay. Just by who's in it.
Yeah. And the next book we got is Marauders, written by Jerry Dugan, and which I kind of like him. And art by Matteo Lally. And yeah, what's the team we got here?
Yeah, it's Captain Kate Pride, and then Emma Frost, and Storm, Pyro, Bishop, and Iceman. But the weird thing about this is it sounds like there's some multiverse stuff going on here, because it's...
Which is amazing, which I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy that they're doing that, and in an X-Men book they're doing some multiverse stuff. I'm so excited.
It looks like, because they're the Hellfire Trading Company, and they're pirates. It seems like it's some timey-wimey, dimension-y kind of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kitty Pryde as a badass pirate captain. That's kind of fun.
Well, hold on. You're missing the most important character. Lockheed is there.
Yes, he's wrapped around her neck. And she looks like she had the hell beat out of her. She's got a black eye and a broken nose.
Yeah.
She is still wearing her X-Men clothes, though, at least on the cover. So she's not full pirate garb. She does have a nice neckerchief, but...
So now you're saying, like, multiverse things, this might be like an alternate thing or something going on. Or maybe not. Maybe this is just like something that happened in House and Powers of X.
You're right.
Yeah. So anything, because anything can happen with those books. We have no idea. So anything could happen. But I mean, so what are you thinking? Just multiverse stuff? I mean, I hope not, because I hate when they touch multiverse stuff.
No, I think it you might be right. I think it might be House of X and Powers of 10 take the X-Men out of the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
And separate them into their own universe, because it seems like it's or something causes them to have pirates. It's weird that they're pirates. And it's also funny that on this team you got Fire and Ice, you got Pyro and Iceman. And I think it's the original Pyro, which is interesting, who's been dead for a long time, but he came back. I think he came back in one of those undead events. And you get Emma and Kitty, who hate each other, and then you get Storm, who's like Kitty's kind of surrogate mother, and then Bishop, who has an on and off again thing with Storm. So I wonder if they're going to hook those guys up again. It's interesting. And they're on a pirate ship. What more do you want?
I don't know. This honestly seems, this is one of the books that I think
I'm interested in this one. Yeah, it seems weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. It is very weird. But yeah, so Marauders #1. Next book, New Mutants #1. The New Mutants are back.
And it's
Jonathan Hickman joins fellow writer Ed Brisson.
Yeah.
And then art by Rod Reyes.
I don't know about the artist, but I love the cover. It's a throwback to the old covers, and it is mostly the original New Mutants. So, at least three of which are dead. Maybe 4 of which are dead. So it's curious. Actually,
Are they all dead?
No, I know. Danny Moonstar isn't. She's alive, and Karma I think's alive, and I'm not sure about Mondo because he wasn't even in New Mutants. He was in Next Gen and those kind of things. And same with Chamber. Chamber was never a New Mutant character, but Chamber died recently. Ilyana died recently. Sunspot died in War of the Realms. Wolfsbane died just after War of the Realms, and Doug Ramsey's been dead for years, and he's got a Warlock arm, so Warlock and Doug Ramsey kind of come back and forth. So it looks like it's other than adding Mondo, which is an odd choice, and Chamber, which is fine. Chamber's kind of like the older statesman of the group. It's a fun team, and Ed Brisson's a great writer, so I'm I've always loved the New Mutants. I think New Mutants are the second team behind the X-Men, so it should be just an X-Men and New Mutants. You don't need anything else, but it's fun. I'm curious what they're going to do with it, but...
And it says here that the classic New Mutants get together with a few new friends, which is Chamber and Mondo, to seek out their missing member and share the good news, a mission that takes them into space alongside the Starjammers.
Yeah, that's weird in space. Who's their missing member? Who are they missing here?
Who are they missing?
Yeah, Cannonball? Cannonball is not here.
Oh.
I think that's the only one. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. No, I think it's Cannonball they must be looking after.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're not using Cannonball, because he is on the Avengers a lot now. So.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. It could be anyone, because their missing member could be someone who's not part of the New Mutants, since they have two people that aren't part of it. But
yeah. Who knows? So,
yeah.
What do you think? You think this hopefully will be good?
I was afraid Illyana was going to be dead, because there was a lot of shots of Danny Moonstar having the Soul Sword. Once again, this cover could be a lie, that it just might be an homage cover, but, yeah. I'm glad to see Magic is not dead, because Magic is one of my favorite characters now, because she just is so evil, but she's a good guy. It's so funny.
But also, this logo is fantastic as well.
Yep, and you got the X even in there still. And like I said, they always have to put the X in all these things, so it's good cross promotion.
Yeah, but yeah, New Mutants #1. New Mutants are back, which is kind of exciting.
Yep.
Next, we have Fallen Angels #1.
Which has nothing to do with the original Fallen Angel series. The original Fallen Angel series was actually about Sunspot, which is kind of funny. Yeah, this one, it's like when they redid X-Force too, to have this looks more like an X-Force book. So it's Quanon, who used to be, it's the body that Psylocke used to be in. She's got the same powers as Psylocke, pretty much. But there's a whole convoluted reason why she ended up in Psylocke ended up in an Asian lady's body, but she's a character now, and it's X-23 and Kid Cable, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
X-23 and Kid Cable, that's a fun little combo. They're both like second generation mutants. And Quanon is a kind of unknown entity right now because she hasn't had much to do yet. So, and I don't know who Brian Edward Hill is. Oh, he wrote Batman and the Outsiders. There you go. Okay. Most of the stuff he's done is DC, which is interesting.
Yeah. But and then also art by Simon Kudranski.
Yeah.
Now here's something interesting. Psylocke finds herself in this new world of mutant kind, unsure of her place in it. But when a face from her past returns only to be killed, she seeks help from others to get vengeance. Cable and X-23 join Quanon for a personal mission that could jeopardize all of mutant existence.
Why does it say Psylocke and then it's Quanon? They change characters halfway through that sentence. I think whoever's writing this, hey, look at Psylocke. It's like, no, it's not Psylocke. And then someone edited it, but forgot to change it the first time they mentioned it.
Mm-hmm. But now, find yourself in this new world of mutant kind. Yeah. Is that literally like the X-Men, all mutants are in another universe? Or
that's what Age of X-Men was all about. So, and at the end of Age of X-Men, the Magneto from that world and X-Man were restarting the world. I don't think it'll tie into that, but I hope it doesn't tie into that. But
the Age of X-Men Omega, did that just end everything with it, or does it seem like that it's going to come back into play?
Well, that was the very last scene was that those two. Everybody else got back to the regular real world, and Magneto made a deal with X-Man. He's like, I have one thing to ask for you. When I leave, I have a thing, and X-Man's like, I understand. So he left, and part of him stayed. The part from there stayed because the whole thing with Age of X-Men was a very fascist society, and Magneto's like, I like what you tried, but maybe settle down on the Nazism here, because obviously he has some issues with Nazis, so he kind of is there to consult X-Man to do a better world and not just be trying to control everybody. So I don't think it's going to have anything to do with it. Like I said, I think in that review, I think it's going to be 10 years down the road. Some other writer will bring it up again. I don't think this has anything to do with that. if anything, this is
Okay.
a different alternate reality where the X-Men get shunted to. But we'll see. And it may be that Kwannon is going by Psylocke. If Psylocke's going by Captain Britain, maybe she's going to take the Psylocke name. But probably because most people will be calling her that anyways, and she'll have to keep telling them, no, that's not me. So she might just give up and be like, yeah, okay, I'm Psylocke, fine. Yeah, so it's like I say, this one should be X-Force, where not the next one is, so...
Yeah, so speaking of the next one, we have X-Force number 1, which is a... let's go through the team.
It's a weird team. It's like they're kind of saying it's like split, but it's they're saying they're like the CIA of the mutant world, but it's Beast, Jean Grey, Sage, Wolverine, Kid Omega, and Domino. But then there's other people in the cover though. There's who's that in the back? Black Tom Cassidy, I think, is on the one side, and Colossus is on there. So
yeah,
they don't mention either of those guys in that description. But I hate how he's called Kid Omega, but Quentin Quire is awesome. He's one of my favorite characters, and they ruined him recently by making him part of the Hellfire Club and stuff. And he was just great as some guy who was a student at the mansion, and then he graduated, but just kind of stuck around and was just like hanging out with the kids, but even though he's a little older, and just being like, I hate it here, but meanwhile he'll do everything to protect that place. Like it was kind of like a maybe I'm into smarmy kids, but I liked how the fact was he wasn't evil, but he was just kind of like like I hate this place, but meanwhile he'll do anything to save the X-Men kind of thing. So it's kind of fun that he's on that team. And I do like Domino, and it's funny that they keep showing Jean Grey in her old costume. I guess she's going back to that. It's kind of a strange choice, but and Wolverine wants his mask back, although she wore it first, but still. Sage, I never liked Sage. She's kind of like a computer, kind of like she calculates a lot, things. So I never liked that character much. I find her kind of boring. So it's hopefully they'll write it well. But as an X-Force book, it's a different team other than Domino. So it'll be fun to see how they handle that because most of these people aren't X-Force people. Well, Wolverine I guess was on X-Force time, but usually X-Force is like the way they've been doing it recently is an assassination kind of squad, or doing the things that nobody else can do. That team there's people like Colossus and Jean Grey are like the moral centers of the X-Men. So obviously it's not going to be assassinations. Maybe it's going to be more solving problems. But
and it says in a perfect world there would be no need for an X-Force, so we're not there yet.
Yeah, so I'm curious what the status quo of this world is. From reading all those, it definitely isn't the normal status quo. I think they're going to be in a different dimension, their own offshoot of the Marvel. Maybe get another, not 616, but something else.
I hope not.
I hope not too.
I hope not. I don't want that to happen. I just, I love it
when they cross over with people like, Captain America shows up, or it's always fun when you do a little crossover, but I can see them doing that. But now that I could see them doing that before when it was Fox owned the X-Men, but now that Disney owns everything, there's no reason to separate them out anymore. So
yeah.
I'm curious to see. Maybe they mean by the new world of mutant kind is the new status quo for mutants. Maybe not necessarily a whole new world, Maybe it's a metaphor. Hickman and his metaphors. We'll see. We'll find out soon, at the very least.
And this is written by Benjamin Percy and art by Joshua Cassara.
Two people I don't know either again.
Now, this is what I was going to say before. 2 out of 6... 2 out of the 6 books I think just don't belong. Like, I understand, obviously you gotta have the X-Men book. You could have X-Force throw in New Mutants and even Excalibur. But Marauders and Fallen Angels, it's like very just weird.
Yeah.
Those seem like just throw-ins to have more X books.
Other than Cable being on the Fallen Angels team, I kind of get that one. Because you have to put X-23 somewhere, and it's kind of fun teaming her up with a ninja. And the Marauders book's just weird. I have no idea where that one's going. But yeah, we'll see. I think 6 is too many, still. Like you say, if they'd taken away a couple of these, I would have been happier, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We never know what their plans are, and the way they've been going lately, most books don't last a year anyways. They last just 12 issues, so
yeah,
we'll see how the sales go. I think this whole like reboot thing is not going to work. Like, if you're not reading X-Men now, I don't think it'll bring that many more people to read the X-Men, especially if it seems like they're keeping the old continuity. I could see if they rebooted it and it kind of like tried to get people in. Even then, I think the time of the X-Men is kind of past. Like, unless the movies really take off, and that's not going to be for another like 3 or 4 years anyways, I don't see the point of trying to make the X-Men what they were in the 90s. It's just not that anymore. It's not that world anymore.
What this something I did hear was, I don't know if this is true or not, but House and Powers of X are going to be what the movies are going to be based off of. So, which is concerning.
Well, it's not concerning if because the Avengers movies were based off Ultimate Avengers, and that worked really well.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's only concerning if it's not good.
That's right. If
it's confusing.
Then it'll be yeah.
Like, I can't see them not making it confusing. Like, I'm steeped in the X-Men lore, and there's still points where I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about here. And I can see how it's hard to get into. Like, you get, like anything, I got into X-Men cold turkey. That's the way you used to do it. And you just eventually find who you like, and you get to know what's going on. And if you really care, you can go read backstories and stuff. But most of the time, you get the idea. But we'll see. We'll see what the whole reboot, or soft reboot, I guess it is now, how successful it is. I can't see it being overly successful in the form of sales. I'm guaranteed that these books will sell out, and they'll be the number one sellers for as long as they're on the 6 issues each, whatever they are. They'll be number one. I'm sure of that. But will those people reading that series continue to read these 6 series? I think there'll be a huge drop off. It'll be people like you who are just, oh, I wonder what this is like, and then be like, oh, it's X-Men. Because I think anybody who likes the X-Men is already reading the X-Men, and it's just the way it is. It's hard to get new readers in such a deep lore. Avengers has kind of always been simple. It's like, you know who Captain America is, you know who Thor is, you know who anybody else on that team is. It's not been hard to get into, where the X-Men has always been based in continuity and relationships. Like, you have to know this person's related to this person, or, a lot of that. It's a soap opera. It's how often can you get into a new soap opera? It's real. I think it would be really hard to start watching Days of Our Lives cold turkey. It's the same idea.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how House and Powers of X go. What's the one that Powers of X comes out this week?
No, House of X comes out first.
Or House of X comes first, which is this week.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about on the next episode of the Superhero Crew podcast.
And
so
once again,
for that.
Both of these series, they say, are intertwined. So why are they separate series? Why not just do a 12-issue miniseries that come out bi-weekly?
Yeah, or just we're trying to milk it, I guess.
But it'd be the same thing. I guess they don't want to have to worry about artists not being able to perform. But like I said, the last week there was 2 comic books that had different artists halfway through the comic book, and it's just like, well, if they're willing to do that, just have every other issue drawn by a different person.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how maybe the series makes sense that it's 2 separate, but it's all conjecture until we read them all.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's all the X-Men books. Like I said, we there should only be 4, not 6.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
well, as long as they're not all bi-weekly, so it's.
Ugh. Oh, God.
Recently, there have been a lot of comic books just coming out every other week. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah. So that's all the X-Men books. Now, I figure, you know what? Let's talk about the next thing, which is probably the biggest deal of Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, completely, are the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies for Phase 4, which, let's talk about each one, I guess, in the order of the article.
Sure.
As each one goes down. So, first one we have is Eternals, which is funny, because in the Avengers book, They're all dead.
Good cross promotion there, Marvel.
Like they literally just died in the Avengers book.
At least
like
they waited until the terrible Inhumans movie or TV show failed until they killed off all the Inhumans. At least they waited till after.
Eternals. I mean, listen, they're very obscure Jack Kirby creation. But I can't speak. Jack Kirby creation, and I think that they're cool. They're an interesting concept. I'm assuming this is going to be based off of Neil Gaiman's run from
that's what I heard.
A couple of years ago,
which
is, that's their best bet.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's going to be, some of them don't know that they're Eternals, and some of them do, and it's going to, be some intrigue, and they all have to band together to fight the, what are the bad guys called? Deviants?
Yeah. So I think so.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than the cast, there's some big names in this cast.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie,
Selma Hayek,
Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things is in it.
Is she?
Yeah.
So it's like the cast is huge, and it's a big ensemble cast. But this, I was talking to somebody about this today, and we were saying, like, who the hell cares about the Eternals? But then once again, who the hell cared about Iron Man or Guardians of the Galaxy before they came out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it could end up being great, but I have no interest in it. I don't know if it's superhero fatigue, like after Endgame. I'm a big low, but yeah, this.
Well, right now we're not getting any movies we're not getting anything till May 1st of 2020, which is Black Widow. But we'll talk about that. We're not getting anything until next year. So we have a whole year to. I guess, cool off from
that's true. But then maybe it'll be like, oh, I really want to see another superhero show.
Yeah. But speaking of a superhero show, the next one we have here is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is coming exclusively to Disney+. And I like how they're doing this, where it's like, it's a very high quality, like high budget show. Like, it's a movie, but it's like the movie, exactly like the movies, but it turned into a show with all the actors and everything. It's not like how Daredevil, where it's kind of low quality.
Yeah, and they don't care about it.
It's just on Netflix, But and apparently Baron Zemo's coming back.
That's cool. He was a wasted character in that movie.
I did hear a thing though, that at the panel, the actor was there and playing, pretending he's Baron Zemo, and he was like, watch out, I'm coming, and then he puts on the purple mask.
Oh, that's be great if he wears his mask.
I hope he wears the mask. Hope he wears the mask.
Even if it's just like a ski mask, that's just that color. I don't care. Yeah. That's cool. I'm excited about this one just because it is the old shows, and I think it'll be fun. It's them kind of being super spies going after Zemo, and we'll get to see Falcon kind of become Captain America, which will be kind of cool. And that Zemo thing I'm really excited about. And hopefully it's only like 6 episodes, or not. I think it is only 6 episodes. Yeah. I think that's what I heard. Because the Netflix shows at like 10 or 13 episodes, which is too long. Oh my god, yeah, it was really. They were like there was just so many. Daredevil was good with it, I think. It probably was most successful, yeah.
Yeah, but the other ones were just very like. There were just some episodes where it was like, okay, there's nothing happening.
Or the same thing would just happen over and over again. Like, it'd be like, okay, I got it. You did that already. Move on. But it was just filler. There was so much filler in all those series. It's just like, please. Yeah. Yeah. Like, even the good ones had filler.
Yeah, I think 6 episodes is perfect for this. But yeah, so Falcon Winter Soldier, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, me too.
Now, the next one, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We getting Mandarin back?
Yes, the real Mandarin, they're saying.
The real Mandarin.
Which is cool.
Oh my god. Yes.
And it looks cool. It's going to be like a kung fu movie, which is going to be great.
I was so disappointed in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
I was very disappointed. But if we're going to get the real Mandarin and then Shang-Chi, oh my god.
Yeah, it looks like it's good. They're doing it correctly, so that'll be fun. It'll be fun at the very least. I don't think it'll have much to do with Marvel in general. Maybe they'll tie it in somehow, but it's going to be a fun kung fu kind of movie. And if they really play it up to be like the old Shaw Brother movies or something like that, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I am excited about that one because it isn't a superhero movie. It's a kung fu movie.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be awesome. Next one, WandaVision, which is a very dumb name.
Oh, I hate that name. Yeah.
But it's going to be a Disney Plus show. Apparently, Monica Rambeau is going to show up in this, who showed up as a child in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And this is a Disney Plus show. Do
you think they're going to change? They're going to skip the Captain Marvel part of her history and turn her right into what is it, Spectrum, or what is she now? She's something other name now.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, she changes names a lot, but I wonder if they're going to superhero her up. Other than the name and the fact that it's about Vision and Scarlet Witch, like it's cool. It's in that world, but those characters in those movies weren't particularly interesting. They kind of tried to make up their love story a little bit in Infinity War, or was it Infinity War or the one before, the Age of Ultron? It's no, I guess she was introduced in Age of Ultron. It must have been Infinity War.
I think it was Infinity War.
So, but I just never felt it between. Maybe it was the characters, or maybe the actors, or we'll see. I'll watch it. Like once again, if it's 6 episodes, I can power through 6 episodes, and it might be great. So
yeah. I'm definitely going to be watching that. I mean, all of these I'm going to obviously watch. Just because for the fact that it is, part of the cinematic universe, we got to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Another Disney Plus show is Loki.
Hopefully, it's based on the current series. I assume it's going to.
Don't even joke.
I taunted you.
Don't even joke. Don't even joke.
I think this one's about him going through time after he got the. Was it the Time Stone he grabbed? What was it was the. Which one was it?
I don't remember.
Was it Tesseract? I think it was the Tesseract, wasn't it?
Yeah. So in Endgame, this is the Loki that
escaped.
Escaped. Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. So he's not the redeemed Loki. He's still the asshole Loki.
Yeah, I did see some things that's like, we're not getting the whole, like you said, it's not the redeemed Loki. It's like he's still a jerk, so he has to redeem himself all over again. Maybe not, but
I'm sure it'll be fun because Tom Hiddleston's just great in that character. So just to see more of Loki being Loki, it might be Deadpool, where it's like if there was a Deadpool ongoing series where it would be like, okay, I have enough. I can stand him for 2 hours, but I don't need to have him, for 20 hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too much, but it should be fun though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Loki, I'm honestly excited because I do like Loki in the movies, not the book, but in the movies I do like him. But like you said, it is asshole Loki, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. This next one I'm concerned about. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Apparently it's going to be a horror movie.
Yep.
And they're bringing the multiverse into this, which is not the best thing, I think, to do.
Although it's written, like, the font that they use is very much like In the Mouth of Madness, which is a Cthulhu-like movie. So I hope that they bring some Cthulhu-like monsters, because Doctor Strange has fought similar kind of guys. So that'd be kind of fun to do a backdoor Cthulhu in the Doctor Strange fighting him. I also like that Scarlet Witch is in this, because Scarlet Witch maybe finally have actual witch-like powers and more like her chaos magic kind of powers that she has in the comics, not her just... Yeah. Well, I don't know what her powers in the movies are. It's not really defined, but they're definitely not like in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be more fun to see her really doing her crazy stuff that she can do. She did once turn a demon's hands into her own babies, so...
Oh.
So hopefully it's some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the first Doctor Strange movie I didn't enjoy that much. I think it was poorly edited and maybe written. Like, it should have been in totally different order. You should never have seen all that crazy bending time stuff in the first 5 minutes. That should have been saved to the climax, but it was not the best movie, so hopefully this is a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And if it's a horror movie and he's going through the multiverse, it might be kind of interesting, but I'm also, like I said, I'm concerned about them bringing the multiverse into this, like they kind of are with this next one.
Sort of.
What if exclusively on Disney Plus, another TV show, I believe,
Animated series, though.
Animated series, which kind of would be cool. Now, if you notice, you could see some stuff in the logo, some people in the logo. I believe Marvel Zombies are in the W.
Oh yeah, they did mention that is a definite possibility that they can show some Marvel Zombies with this, and I like how it's going to be from the Watcher's point of view too, like the old What If comics.
Yes.
And Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher is kind of hilarious.
Now I'm just going to say something. How do I put this? Well, Marvel Zombies. Really?
Oh, it's horrible, but at least it'll be a one episode. I think it's going to be every episode's going to be totally different. So
I hope it's
if it's just all
book.
if it's all about just Marvel Zombies, that's stupid. But hopefully that's just one episode. Another episode is what if Captain America became a werewolf permanently, or like the old show or the old comics.
Yeah.
Especially if they take some of and animate some of the old comics, like the classics, that'd be kind of fun.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be like the old comics, then everybody's going to die.
Yes, that's always fun too.
So,
and the best thing is they're bringing back all the voice talent too, since they have them anyways. They're gonna, it'll be all the real voices, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. There's not going to be any terrible impressions.
No.
Yeah. And I think it's perfect to do an animated series as well. I think that's great.
Yeah, because the budget would be astronomical if you try to do it.
Oh yeah.
Or it'd be limited, and that'd be not as good.
Yeah. But yeah, so pretty much. I'm excited for it, but because I like What If and the alternate, reality stuff.
We know you like it. I did too until recently.
But yeah, I think this will be cool. Next one we have is Hawkeye, and no one cares. The next one
but that Hawkeye is going to be based on what is the Hopeless comic, I think,
yes.
where it's Hawkeye training. What's her name?
Kate Bishop,
yeah. So that might be a little bit better, and if it's got him and his dog and just him living in an apartment somewhere. But Jeremy Renner is not Hawkeye, and that's the only problem is they kind of backed themselves into a corner by having Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, and I think they realize that, so they're already putting Hawkeye in another person, so
yeah,
they can just get rid of him.
And this is going to be a show on Disney Plus as well. But I don't care.
And that's why I can see that it's that base of that miniseries, because it was pretty much in his apartment building, the whole series. So it'd be cheap. It's not going to be some crazy stuff, And it's pretty much defending his apartment building from people who just keep attacking it.
Whatever. Nobody cares about Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Anyway, next one. We have Thor, Love and Thunder. Natalie Portman will return. For some reason.
I'm amazed that she's coming back, but
I am so surprised.
But I think it's because they said, "Hey, you're not just going to be the love interest. You're going to be female Thor. You're going to be
You want to be Thor?"
Yeah. So, and it's like a lot of people don't know about the comic books. Are like, "Oh, this is ridiculous," but it's like, yeah, they did it for quite a long time in the comic books, and it was fine. It was well written, and it's going to still be directed by Taika Waititi, and he's hilarious. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do about the rest of it. I assume it's their way of, since Chris Hemsworth is probably his contract's probably up. This is probably the way that they're gonna get around that.
Well, the thing is that with Chris Hemsworth, spoilers for Endgame, but he was the only one that's still around.
Yeah, pretty much.
And still doing things, like, of the main three. So it's like, like like he's still around. He's still going to be around, I guess, as Thor with the as Guardians of the Galaxy. But
I wonder if he's going to end up being King Thor and the king, so he won't be able to go off on adventures. So Jane kind of does it.
Mm-hmm.
I just never liked their chemistry in those movies. I think who's the other girl that's her sidekick? She was much more better as a character, I think, than Jane Foster was. So, and I'm amazed Natalie Portman came back because she trashed all the Marvel movies and stuff, and she really and I don't even think the scenes of her in was it in Endgame? It wasn't even her. I mean it was her, but I think it was scenes from the movie she was in, and not
it was
new
like
scenes.
repurposed, repurposed and deleted scenes.
So I'm sure they just threw a ton of money at her and said, "Hey, you get to be a superhero," and she's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see. Well, it's also gonna. See, I don't think he will be King Thor because he abdicated to Valkyrie, right? She's the queen now, so.
Yeah, which is stupid.
It was just kind of once again, it seemed like they were just setting it up that he's going to be gone. So, I wonder if he's going to die in like the first 5 minutes.
But yeah, that's Thor.
Yeah.
Thor, was it Love and Thunder?
If you told me what was your most excited one coming up, it would have been Thor 4. But now I'm a lot less excited than I was, unfortunately.
The next one I'm actually kind of excited about, not just because it's Black Widow, but we have Black Widow. She's finally getting a movie after, being around for a while, but then, not being around anymore after Endgame. But this, I think, takes place around Civil War.
Yeah. I think it's a prequel of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, but David Arbor as the Red Guardian.
Yeah, that's cool. It's gonna have, and it looks like it's gonna have a lot of the. What was that team called? The Avengers of Russia. They'd name.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah,
and they're in the book in the Avengers book. I forgot what they're called. What are they called?
So I think that's because some of the other names seem like names from that group. So
yeah,
I think it'll be fun. It's gonna be, it's gonna be good. Nice spy Russia action movie. And you're bringing in a lot more characters from that side. Those like obscure characters from Russia. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
What was it? Black Star was the one girl. I think she could make black holes or shoot dark. What was that dark matter stuff that they had in the comics? The same thing that's in Cloak's Cloak. What do they call that stuff?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's the Winter Guard.
Winter Guard, yeah, that's right. So yeah, it'll be fun. I think that's the one coming out soonest, I think.
Yeah, that's May 1st, 2020.
Yeah, so almost a year from now, but yeah, I think that one's the one most people are looking forward to. Maybe a little late because she did perish in Endgame. Spoilers. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that is.
Yeah. But the next one, we did it. We got Blade.
And it's not Wesley Snipes, which is great.
Unfortunately.
But the guy playing him is from what's that TV show? He's Cottonmouth in the
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage show. And Cottonmouth was the best part of that whole series. So, and when he died, that show went down.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's such a good actor.
Was dumb.
Yeah, no. And Cottonmouth was such a good character, and he's such a good actor that I'm excited to see him as Blade. Blade, though? Do we need another Blade?
I guess the Netflix shows really don't matter then if they're just using the same actors.
I think that somebody in an article said exactly that. Just to prove that Netflix shows don't matter, they've cast this character.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blade. Vampires. What more can you do with Blade?
Exactly. But it's Blade. Blade's cool. I like Blade.
Yeah, but we had 3 movies of Blade already, and they're all pretty good.
Well, the third one's kind of trash.
Yeah, 2 of them are good.
But
well, the third one had Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah, as Hannibal King.
Yeah, he was good. Blade was terrible in it, but those parts are fun. Yeah, Blade. Does it say who's directing it? No, I don't think they did yet.
No. Well, that's like in the far-flung future, so that's like that's not coming for a while.
Because Guillermo del Toro directed the one Blade movie, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I assume they're gonna get who what's his name? Who does the I can't remember his name. The joke's ruined if I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah. So Blade, more vampires.
Is
there anything? I guess he could fight other monsters.
Yeah, I guess.
Werewolf by Night. Is it Mobius? Maybe this is how they're going to introduce Mobius.
Morbius.
Whatever.
Mobius is the
artist
thing. Yes. The thing from the evil within video game.
Yeah, there's also one that's not even in this article. Did you notice that?
Which one?
They at the very end of the panel they showed Fantastic Four.
Did they?
Yeah. Once again, very far future, but they said, "Yep, this is in the future."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're going to have that.
Yeah, they put up, but they actually put the words up, Fantastic Four, and he also said that mutants are in the far future also. So
yeah,
which everybody's speculating that they're going to try to get away from the X-Men name because they think for marketing, people hear X-Men and they think pornographic things and also well, the fact that
why can't there be X-women?
Yeah, that too. So they're saying that there might be a rename to be mutants, which I think's dumb. That's what the original name for X-Men. Stan Lee, when he first introduced them, wanted to be called the Mutants, but he got shouted down because people didn't know what a mutant was back then. Mm-hmm. So. So we get the X-Men instead, and we'll see in the far future the X-Men finally in their costumes, and I hope I live to see that day. But Fantastic Four, as long as they do it correctly, I think they should definitely base it off maybe even the Hickman run, the Future Foundation, all that kind of stuff. That'd be much more interesting than what they've been trying to do all these years with the Fantastic Four.
I had a friend. What was that?
I was just going to say, just have it. So don't have an origin story. Just have them. Everybody knows who the Fantastic Four is. Just have them in the world.
Yeah. I had a friend who said, yeah, they're going to do Fantastic Four. I'm like, okay. But he was like, yeah, maybe something with the, one of the Infinity Stones, gives the power. And I'm like, just enough with the stones. We're done with that now.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll even bother. I think that we are done with that. I don't think they'll go back to trying to fit everything together. I think it's a new start.
Yeah, I think it's just, Yeah. Whatever with that.
I think it's more likely the multiverse stuff is going to cause this kind of how they're going to introduce all these new characters.
Yeah. Also, I heard allegedly in the Black Widow movie, Taskmaster's going to be in it.
Yes, I've seen stills of that. Yep.
Which, my boy Taskmaster.
And he looks just like the comics too. He's got the hood on and everything. Yeah,
and the shield with the T.
Yeah. He doesn't quite have the skull face. I think he's got more of just a mask, but still, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's it for all the San Diego Comic-Con news, unless you have anything to say that I do not know about, Rob.
No, I think you covered most of it. There's tons of other stuff. I'm sure there's tons of action figure news and all that.
Yeah, there's all that stuff, but we don't really care about that stuff. We just care about the comic book news, and then I figured, we'll talk about the movies. But yeah, so that's it for this episode of the Superhero Crew podcast. Next week, what I want to do is I want to talk about news for each episode of the podcast. I want to talk about the news from the last week, and then have a topic. So next week we'll talk about the news from this week, and then next week kind of, and then we're going to talk about Powers.
House of X.
House. Okay.
House of X with the Dr. House, MD, in the X-Men world. That's what it's going to be about.
That's great. But so we'll talk about House of X next week. So stay tuned for that episode of the Superhero Crew podcast. And Rob, it's been an honor.
Yes, it's been good. We missed Coach, fun. But next time we can have Coach on. Maybe he can add to our conversation.
Yes, this was a coachless episode, unfortunately.
He was indisposed.
But, yeah, guys, that's it. And comment down below on your opinions of some of this stuff. We want to hear from you guys. We could have discussion, maybe even an argument down in the comments below, which would be fun.
Tell us why Hawkeye is the best character in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, no.
Nobody could say that, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks that. But, yeah, guys, that's it for this episode, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.